So I'm working in Nuendo by Steinberg. It's like Cubase, but it's has a lot more bells and whistles in regards to post production and sound design and things like that. But functionally, if you go between them, they it's not a whole lot of issues. Um, and so this part right here, song structure. So Cubase has an arranger, or in the window has an arranger, and each block represents a song section right here, right? So I can switch between song sections. And here's my intro, here's my verse, here's my chorus, here's another verse, here's a chorus, here's another verse, here is the chorus, and then here's my outro. What I probably will do at some point is put a bridge somewhere for a change up, because I like to do that, and that's one of the easiest ways I know is to have to do something interesting. One of the tools I have is to throw in a bridge. It might make the song a little bit longer, but it does something special to the song overall and something interesting. And normally a bridge is towards the end of a song. You can put a bridge anywhere. You can have multiple bridge type sections, but typically a bridge is either before or after the last verse, or before the last chorus, before the outro. So that's how I kind of understand it. So let's listen to the intro to this song, and what I did for my intro. Oops. Ooh, I kind of like that bass there. Yes, they're right. So there's a little arrangement right there. All right. So what happened right there is I'll show you this later why I had that there, but as I played, I was like, ooh, I kind of like that there, and for the intro. But if you look through here, part of the arrangement part was, okay, this bass guitar is a sample, exotic, what is it, hip hop exotic bass loop. And, but yeah, as you see through here, I arranged it. I moved things around so I can customize it and really fit the vision of what I'm talking, of the beat, right? I didn't want to just slap it on there. I wanted to do something different to it, so it's mine. It's something that's unique. And then with that, my kick drum kind of follows that too. So it's kind of the musicality in the arrangement. So let's go to a section I can let you hear that part. So you'll hear the kick and the bass drum kind of mirror each other almost. The kick hits, the bass hits around the same time. There's little differences, and that's okay. But generally speaking, they're on the same page. Oops. Hear that? Okay, so and then if you want to hear with all the drums, it just is more cohesive. I think when the kick and the bass, whether it's an 808 or in a synth bass or a bass guitar, traditionally those two are like the twins almost. Like if they're not kind of doing the same patterns, like things could get off really easy, as far as like sounded like something's like not together. So because they both play the foundation role of the song. Oops. Okay, so you got that right. All right, now let's go back to this part right here and see if I can get. So I got a cheat code for my drums that I like to use now, and this one is a Unison drum monkey. It's like an AI kind of thing, and it generates drum kits for you, like drum patterns for you. And the reason why I want to show you this is because when it comes to arranging a song, your drum, especially hip hop and R&B and urban kind of music, it's very important to have things that match. And I think when you don't have that, it can be a lot more difficult to get things sounding cohesive in a mix. So this is gonna play, and this is what the drums initially started out with. Right? All right. Now let's play that bass guitar. Right? They're not cohesive. They're in the same tempo, but they're not cohesive. All right, so what I did is, what's cool about this is, if I hit this button right here, which I will not do because I want to keep the original pattern for record keeping, but if I hit this button, this guy will throw his drum into this pattern, and it'll change up the whole pattern and change up all the sounds. And actually, I did switch out some of the sounds on here too, but and then give you a whole different drum loop, right? And what I did from there is I exported all these sounds out into separate tracks. So let's disable this. So don't be afraid to use tools that will help you speed up your flow. And then, so here's that what you saw in Drum Monkey tracked out from MIDI to audio files, right? And that way, I'll have that on hand forever as long as I have the files. Like, I'm not dependent on the plugin working or not working. But one of the things I did with the kick drum is I went in and actually you can't see it anymore, and I chopped it up, and then I moved the kick around to match the bass guitar. So it's the same kick that you heard just now, but now it's been switched up to match up. And that's just how I like it. I guess you don't have to do that, but that's how I like to do it. Same kick. And same snare. Now, there's a rim shot in the original one. I changed that up. You can see I moved that around just to get it to sit in the pocket better. And snare's the same. And I switched this open hi-hat up too. Go every other time, except for when I get to the chorus. The bass guitar change up. That's all tailor made. Now here's the chorus now. Now you see that the open hi-hat is hitting every time now. Okay. And if I go from, the end of the verse into the chorus, you'll hear the change up. Chorus. have a similar thing with some of the instrumentation. So let's so you see this this vocal pad that you hear right here. That is going to change up. You can just look at the MIDI information and see, okay, this changes up right here. Verse, chorus, and it does that, through the whole song. Verse, chorus, right? And even the intro is different, right? And then for the chorus, I have these two other sounds in there that aren't even on the verse, right? Except for on this, I change it up right here. I play something custom. See, it's not the same. And right here, it's something different. And it's all in the key of F minor. Yeah, F minor. So let's just listen to this. Now here comes the chorus. Okay, so verse, chorus, right? The drums didn't really change up. Sometimes I will do a lot of change ups in the drums between the verse and the chorus, and I might even use a whole nother drum set for a whole nother pattern between the two. Or when we get to the bridge, making the bridge, I think that will be even more important for contrast's sake. So that's a quick rundown on this part of arrangement, right? As far as instrumentation. Another thing about arrangement that I want to talk about is the bridge, right? So let's unsolo everything you want to play to, and let's just add a bridge in here. Let's say, I think I'm gonna throw a bridge right here. So let's do something interesting here. Take those pops out. Here, the pops are going away. Alright. So I just bounce the whole thing down. And then there's still pops in there. I hear, so every time the bass hits, I'm hearing like a tap, and that will come out big time in the mastering process. So I'm going to try to get rid of the clicks. D-click. RX. Apply. Let's see what happens. Yeah, now it's gone. All right. So I remember a few weeks ago I talked about using the enharmonic. So this key is in F minor. So what I could do is F G A. I think it's A major, maybe. Let's see, F minor. Oops, F minor is A flat major. Ooh, that's gonna be a harder key. So A flat major. Now we're just gonna borrow from this guy right here. Well, I'm gonna double that. Yeah, just one time's fine. Yeah. Alright, so let's see what happens to the transition now. There we go. Alright, well, from here to here. Okay. So to add contrast, to introduce the I'll just do this later. To introduce the bridge is I like to use silence sometimes. Excuse me. You know what? I'm gonna double that because I just think it needs to be doubled. Like it sounds like it's calling to be doubled. So let's just make sure this is right. Alright. Let's add something to this. Here it Yeah. So that was a quick example of, how I would lay down. Well, I just laid down a course, right? Or not a course, but a bridge. I'm still going to work on the intros. It's called the Santa thing. Santa. Santa something. Okay. pretty fun plugin. It's free too. I think who put this thing out like during Christmas? Clev Clevger. Uh, yeah, it's a pretty fun plugin. So yeah, all right. So I'm gonna stop this part here just because for time's sake. Um, but what we just did just now is for arrangement's sake, we added a bridge here. So it's part I. Um, if your DAW I'm sure it does. Most DAWs have all the same stuff, but this is kind of cool is because I can arrange it either this way or I can use my arranger and I can get certain sections to repeat once or twice, or however many times I want. I'm not doing that with this. I just use this for just clarity of what is what section is what section, so just so I can easily glance at it. I can tell by the way the tracks look, but it just makes it easier to have things just stand out to you right away. So this is just called an arranger track on mine, but some people have section tracks, whatever you can this one you can't really custom make these to say like bridge chorus. And there is one, I just don't know what it is where I can do that. I think it might be marker. Let's see, course. Course. I think that's how you spell it. Where's my flag? Yeah, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I do like that one. Yeah, so let me change that either. So, C, no C. Okay, so that is another potential way to do that, but okay. MIDI inputs. All right. Next, we're going to talk about balancing, right? And we'll just go ahead and balance this part right here. So now we got a contrasting part, for the overall beat. This bridge section that leads us into the last chorus, into the outro. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the mixing part. So